As a professional killer, the first thing you must have is absolute self-discipline, calmness, and rationality. Secondly, you need the ability to operate without leaving any trace and a strong sense of counter-surveillance. Third is the hard requirement of having an all-round skill set. Whenever he makes a move, he is always clean and decisive, never dragging things out. In order to complete his mission, Mike had been staking out at this location for several days. On this day, the opportunity finally came. His target appeared squarely in his sights. Waitrong person. That's the real target. Once the target exposed the perfect sniping position, Mike immediately steadied his mind. Heart rate, 65, just right. He decisively pulled back the bolt, adjusted his position, and focused all his attention on making the kill with one shot. This was the first time Mike missed. He prepared to fire again, but when he saw the bodyguard pull the curtain down, he knew there was no more chance. Neatly, he packed up his rifle, picked up the shell casing from the ground, slung on his backpack, put on his helmet, and quickly went downstairs. As police cars wailed toward him, he rode off on an electric scooter, then tossed away the magazine, dumped his gear into a garbage truck, avoided police cars in time, and finally threw his helmet into the river. In one smooth sequence, he disposed of all tools used in the job. Mike then went to a convenience store, used the restroom to quickly change out of his clothes, washed away any scent from his body, shaved off his several days old stubble, put on fresh clothes, and sprayed perfume at the sink to mask his scent. Once everything was handled, he walked out of the store, clean and neat, hailed a taxi, and headed for the airport. Before entering the airport, he wiped his fingerprints from his handgun and quietly dropped it into a trash can. But as soon as he stepped into the departure hole, a police dog locked its gaze straight on him. Although Mike had already cleaned his scent, he was still worried about possible trouble. So he turned back into the restroom, thoroughly cleaned himself again, wiped down the sink before leaving, and then bought a new ticket for a different flight. Just then, he suddenly received a call from his boss, followed by a round of threats. Mike knew very well that as a professional killer, a single mistake could mean being hunted by both sides. After hanging up, he immediately threw away the SIM card and crushed the phone to prevent tracking. A professional killer never lets his guard down for a moment. Even on the plane, Mike remained alert to his surroundings. That's when he noticed a man in a suit and sunglasses, seemingly watching him. So, as soon as he landed, he changed his identity for a connecting flight yet. The suited man also booked a connection. What was more shocking was that when Mike walked into the departure lounge, the suited man was already sitting there. This put Mike on high alert. That man was very likely a threat, and Mike would never gamble with his life. Gamblers don't deserve sympathy. So Mike immediately changed his ticket for the next day and stayed at the airport hotel that night. After ordering dinner, he cautiously opened the door, only after confirming the delivery person's identity. Once the deliveryman left, Mike set up the room. Frequent hotel guests know the tricks to prevent intrusions at night. He gently balanced a glass on the doorknob and placed a food cover near the door. If someone pushed the door, he'd know instantly. He then picked up a dinner knife, sat in a chair, and turned off the lights. Fortunately, the night passed without incident. The next day, he boarded the plane, and upon returning to his hideout in the Dominican Republic, he found his car waiting at the airport parking lot. Driving away, Mike still didn't relax. He looped around inside and outside the city several times, and only when it was nearly dark did he head home. But as soon as he reached his door, he sensed something was wrong. 2 sets of large shoe prints, round size 40, were at the front gate. They definitely weren't his wife's, and the cigarette butts scattered around suggested someone had been staking out for a long time. His nerves instantly tightened again. Mike grabbed a pistol from his car, scaled the gate, and ran toward the house on foot. From the woods behind the house, he saw footprints leading toward it, proof that the stalkers had entered. Cautiously, Mike approached. Music was playing inside, but there was no sign of his wife. He turned off the music and moved forward, spotting kitchen knives scattered on the floor. Rushing to the bedroom, he found the bathroom in chaos, with bloodstains on the wall. He called his wife and learned she was in the hospital. At the hospital, his brother-in-law told him that while Mike was away, a man and a woman had broken in, injured his wife, and questioned her about his whereabouts before leaving in a green taxi. After learning this, Mike immediately transferred his wife to a private hospital in Punta Cana. She soon woke up and told him the attackers had not found out his location. Seeing her covered in injuries, Mike, an elite killer, felt deep guilt for failing to protect his own family. He buried a seed of revenge. Back home, he dug up a patch of lawn where he kept emergency gear. Taking the weapons, multiple IDs, and communication devices he needed, Mike set off. His first target, the green taxi. When he found the car, he didn't approach but noted the company it belonged to. That night, he went to the company, pretended to be a passenger in urgent need, and persuaded the night staff to let him in. Once inside, he checked all the dispatch records and quickly found the cab that had been near his home. Using its license plate, he traced the driver's identity. To cover his real purpose, he messed up the scene to look like a robbery and took some cash. Early the next morning, Mike found the driver, Xiaohei, on a shift. He posed as a passenger and gave a random address. While Xiaohei focused on driving, Mike calmly attached a silencer to his pistol and tapped on the glass divider. Mike saw that the man was covered in blood. Although Xiaohei confessed everything he knew, Mike, ever cautious, left no loose ends. Wiping his fingerprints from the cab, Mike calmly walked away. He didn't know exactly who the two attackers were, but his boss certainly did, because only his boss knew his home address. He switched identities again and flew to New Orleans, where he had a private garage full of weapons. Taking a handgun, silencer, magazine, and a new passport, he swapped his car plates, bought a large garbage bin and janitor's uniform, and staked out his boss's office building. Soon a courier approached to deliver a package. Mike rolled out the bin and slipped in with him. Coincidentally, the courier was delivering to Mike's boss on the 4th floor. As the courier opened the security door, Mike timed how long it took to close 7 seconds. He knew he had to slip in within that window. He followed, saw the recipient was the boss's secretary. And when the courier left, Mike caught the door with his foot at the last second. Pulling a toolbox and pistol from the bin, he entered. The secretary backed away in fear, but Mike's target was the boss. Handing cable ties to the secretary, Mike had him tie the boss to a chair, then tie himself to the bathroom handrail, leaving the door slightly ajar to watch him. Mike confronted the boss, a lawyer by cover, but actually a broker for assassination jobs. It turned out that the attack on Mike's wife was ordered by the boss himself as punishment for Mike's earlier failed hit. Mike's goal was simple: learn the client's identity. But the boss, true to his professional ethics, refused to give a name. Losing patience, Mike used a pneumatic nail gun to fire 3 nails into the boss's chest. From experience, Mike knew pulling them out within 7 minutes could save him. But after just 2 minutes, the boss collapsed. Calmly, Mike slid the garbage bin into the room, freed the terrified secretary who begged Mike to stage his death as an accident so his kids could get insurance, and packed the boss's body away. Together, they left in the elevator. At the secretary's home, they found the boss's job orders, 2 numbers belonging to Sang Bo and Cotton Swab, the ones who attacked Mike's wife, plus another order from client Claiborne. Mike got what he wanted, and, unusually, didn't make the secretary disappear. He staged an accidental death instead. He dissolved the boss's body in his garage, reduced 80 kilos to a single barrel, and dumped it into the sea. Arriving in Florida, Mike rented a car under a fake name and scoped out Sang Biao's place, finding a fierce guard dog. Buying beef, sleeping pills, and malt liquor, he returned at night. Tossing the drugged beef to the dog, it soon fell asleep. Mike entered, but before he could search, a brutal fight erupted. They battled from bedroom to living room until Mike hooked Sang Biao's shoulder with a metal hook. But Sang Bo, a notorious hardcase, threw Mike down and grabbed a gun. Mike dashed to retrieve his own dropped pistol. Wounded, Sang Bo followed. Gunshots woke the dog, but Mike killed Sang Bo before it could attack. Mike escaped outside, tossed a lit gasoline bottle into the house, and spared the dog. It couldn't talk anyway. Cleaning up in an airport bathroom, Mike flew to New York for his next target, Cotton Swab. Tracking him, Mike found he was dating. At a fancy restaurant, knowing the law would suspect the boyfriend if she died, Mike boldly sat opposite her when the boyfriend went to the restroom. She realized instantly there was no escape, and after finishing her last meal, asked to take one final romantic walk. At some stairs, she stumbled and asked Mike to help her up, overestimating her charm against a man devoted to his wife. The last target, Claiborne, was a wealthy Chicago tycoon, always in an armored car and living in a secure luxury apartment. Mike slipped into the garage as the car left, but found the inner door locked. Photographing the lock, he ordered a online. The next day, he stole a cleaning staff member's keys at Claiborne's gym, opened Claiborne's locker, copied his access card, and returned it. Entering through the garage, Mike confronted Claiborne, who thought he was a robber until he saw the hit order. Claiborne explained that after Mike's failed hit, he hadn't wanted revenge. He even told the boss, "Nobody's perfect," but the boss offered to clean up the mess for $150,000 more, assuring Claiborne it wouldn't touch him. Mike finally understood. The warning had never come from Claiborne, but from the boss himself. Realizing Claiborne wouldn't ruin himself over a killer, Mike spared him. After all this, Mike decided to retire for good, spending his days with his wife. This is a film that, through a unique perspective, portrays the killer's world. With a simple plot and clear chapters, it uses the assassin's experience to reveal the absurdity and coldness of modern society, a distinctive and stylish work. See you in the next story.